Bitcoin has tumbled almost 6% in just the last couple hours, and I wanted to make a quick video just explaining why this move happened and what we can expect from the market going forward over the next couple days. Now, as you can see here, we started out around almost $92,000 and in just a couple hours tumbled all the way down to 86.4, where we are right now, and we could very well go lower. We did have a bit of support right here over this last week in this area, and maybe we continue to find some more support in this area, but it would not surprise me if we end up going lower. But the reason why this move had originally happened is because, as you can see here on the MACD, the monthly chart crossed into the red. And this is another one of the bear market confirmations. To have this happen at this point in the cycle, it almost confirms that the bear market is in. And that's with all the other indicators that have been going off. For example, us closing multiple weekly candles below the 50 weekly moving average. So this is another indicator for a lot of big buyers that we are heading towards a bear market. So it doesn't surprise me at all to see a sell-off like this happen. And like I said, we could continue to see a sell-off going into Monday when markets open as well. Another interesting post I seen that I wanted to go over with you guys is Lark Davis posted, and he said Bitcoin is about to close one of its worst Novembers, and historically every red November has been followed by a red December. Will history repeat itself? Now, that's not guaranteed at all either. Now, in the later half of this video, I'm going to go over some good things that could propel us upwards. But as you can see here in 2022 and 2021, and then 2019 and 18, every time we had a red December, a November, we ended up getting a red December too. And with all these bear market indicators going off, you do have to play the market you're presented, regardless of what you do believe. And everything in the market is presenting that we are going into a bear market. So for right now, it does seem as if history will repeat itself. But that does not mean in the short term we can't get some pumps. And as I wanted to show you guys here, as you can see, in just the last 24 hours, most of those coming in just the last couple hours, we have almost 520 million in liquidated longs. Now, another part that I wanted to show you is the heat map. And we'll bring this over to the 1 month chart. And we scroll down here because we always seem to say that the price chases leverage and liquidations. Well, we had a huge pocket of liquidations right at the $88,000 to $90,000 area that we have just come down and completely wiped out. We still have a massive amount of liquidations to the upside. One pocket right here in the 96 to 98 area, and even up higher in the 110 area, and a bunch in between here too. The reason I bring this up is because there is every possibility that we get a short squeeze. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to all-time highs or anything like that, but even in bear markets, we do get pumps. And what might cause a pump like that to happen? Well, we still have almost a 90% chance of a rate cut to be given when the Fed meets on December 10th at the FOMC meeting. Now, I know part of that cut is already priced in because that was a big part of the reversal that happened on November 21st. But a big important part about this is what Jerome Powell says after the rate cut is given, because if he's dovish or hawkish, that can determine what way this market wants to move. And speaking of Jerome Powell speaking, he's actually set to speak tomorrow, on December 1st, which is when QT is set to end. And I believe this will be a very important thing to tune in and listen to, because as the Fed decides to end quantitative tightening and Jerome Powell comes out to make a speech, presumably on monetary policy, it'll be very important to hear what he believes he will do with the rest of his term regarding rate cuts, if he plans to start quantitative easing and pumping money back into the market, or if he plans to extend this period with no QT and no QE and just let the market sit and see what happens. So a lot of what might happen with this market is going to depend on the words that he says, not only on the 10th, but I might even say even more so tomorrow, because if he hints that the Fed's going to be dovish and they're going to start QE sooner than later, that could cause an easy reversal in the market, and then we could see that short squeeze to the upside. But if he's a little bit more standoffish and hawkish and he wants to wait to see the data, because obviously we still have a lot of data that hasn't been released due to the government being shut down, and unfortunately we won't get a lot of that data until a week after the FOMC meeting on the 10th, then the market might continue to go downwards. And that's why it's always important, and I always stress this, to have a plan if things go down and if things go up. As for now, those were the important things I wanted to cover on this video. Please keep an eye out for Jerome Powell's speech tomorrow, because I can guarantee it will have a big impact on the market.